This channel presents 5 months pregnant. Welcome to our channel. At 5 months pregnant, also known as 20 weeks pregnant, you've officially entered the second half of your pregnancy journey. While the first trimester brought along morning sickness, fatigue, and breast tenderness, the next few months promise a whole host of new experiences and less nausea. What will your 5th month of pregnancy look like? Let's find out. In today's episode, we'll talk about what to expect at 5 months pregnant, both for you and your unborn baby. So, without further ado, let's get started. At 5 months pregnant, your belly is starting to show. Though it's still early days, and only about the size of a mango, you may not have a big bump yet. But as you continue to gain weight, you'll start to see your bump getting bigger. This is because the baby's weight is increasing rapidly. In fact, by the time your baby is born, you'll have gained between 25 and 35 pounds, according to the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. This doesn't mean that you should be eating more food than usual, though. Just make sure that you're eating healthy foods so that you can get the nutrients you need for a healthy pregnancy and baby. Speaking of which, your appetite may change dramatically over the course of your pregnancy. Some women find that they want to eat all the time, while others don't feel hungry until later in the day. It's important to listen to your body and eat when you're hungry. But if you do find yourself constantly snacking, it may be helpful to keep some healthy snacks on hand so you're not tempted to reach for the first food you see. Your hormones are also responsible for other changes during the 5th month of pregnancy. For example, your blood volume increases by up to 50% during pregnancy, according to the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. This extra blood helps to support the growth of your baby and placenta, but it also means that you may be more prone to swelling, especially in your ankles and feet. To reduce swelling, try elevating your feet when you sit down and doing some light exercise such as walking. You may also want to avoid standing for long periods of time or sitting with your legs crossed. One of the most exciting things about being 5 months pregnant is that you'll soon be able to start feeling your baby move. Quickening usually begins between weeks 18 and 25, although it may start earlier or later for some women. When you feel 10 movements in an hour, it's important to remember that every pregnancy is different and every baby moves differently. Some babies are more active than others, and some babies are more active at certain times of day. However, if you haven't counted 10 movements by the end of an hour, it's important to contact your provider. Here are some tips on how to count your kicks. First, start counting as soon as you feel 10 movements. Don't worry about the time it takes to count them. Just keep counting until you reach 10. Kicks can be strong or weak. They can be high or low. They can be long or short. They can be sharp or dull. Any movement counts as long as it's coming from your baby. Another thing to watch out for at 5 months pregnant are Braxton Hicks contractions. These are practice contractions that help prepare your body for labor. Braxton Hicks are usually not painful, but they can be uncomfortable. If you experience regular contractions, even if they're not painful, contact your provider. This could be a sign that your labor has started early. 5 months pregnant with twins. If you're expecting twins, you may start feeling your babies move sooner than expected. This is because there's more than one little one to kick and jab you. On average, twin pregnancies last about 32 weeks. So if you're carrying twins and you're 5 months along, you can expect to see them pretty soon. Other common signs of twin pregnancy include carrying your bump higher than usual, gaining weight faster than expected, and having more stretch marks than usual. 5 months pregnant and still no ultrasound picture. If you're wondering if you should be getting an ultrasound picture at 5 months, the answer is maybe. Ultrasounds are typically only done during the first trimester to confirm that the pregnancy is viable and to rule out any major abnormalities. However, if your provider feels that it's necessary, they may perform an ultrasound during the second trimester as well. If you're still waiting for your ultrasound picture at 5 months, just know that it's not uncommon. Many providers prefer to wait until the 3rd trimester before taking ultrasound pictures. There are a lot of benefits to waiting. For example, the baby will be bigger and easier to see. Also, the anatomy will be fully developed by then, so you'll be able to see all of your baby's body parts clearly. 5 months pregnant and not showing. Another question people often have is whether or not they should be showing at 5 months. Again, the answer is maybe. Some women show very early. while others don't start showing until much later. If you're 5 months along and you're not showing yet, it's probably because your bump is still too small to be visible. However, if you're concerned about your bump size, just ask your provider. They'll be able to tell you whether or not everything is okay. By the time you're 5 months pregnant, you'll have had your first and second trimester screenings. These tests are designed to detect any potential problems with your baby's development. If everything looks good, your provider will likely schedule a third trimester screening for around month 7. This screening will include a glucose test to check for gestational diabetes, as well as an ultrasound to check for any structural abnormalities. You'll also continue to have regular prenatal appointments throughout the rest of your pregnancy. At these appointments, your provider will check your blood pressure, urine, weight, and measure your belly to make sure that you and your baby are growing and developing normally. They'll also answer any questions that you have and provide you with guidance on how to take care of yourself and your baby as your pregnancy progresses. So what should you do if you're 5 months pregnant? First, continue doing the things you've been doing. Keep eating a healthy diet, getting regular exercise, and attending your prenatal appointments. Second, prepare for the arrival of your baby. Now is the time to start thinking about things like childcare, maternity leave, and baby gear. Finally, enjoy the journey. Pregnancy is a special time, and it goes by fast, so be sure to cherish every moment. As you enter the 6th month of pregnancy, here's what to expect. By the time you're 6 months pregnant, you'll have made it halfway through your pregnancy. You may even start to feel like you're finally starting to show. That's because your bump is getting bigger, and your baby is getting longer. At this point, you can expect your baby to weigh between 1 and 2 pounds. Your baby is also starting to become more active at this stage. You may be able to feel your baby moving around inside of you. If this is your first pregnancy, you may not be able to tell exactly what kind of movement you're feeling, but it should feel like fluttering or kicking sensations. If you're pregnant with twins, you'll be able to feel 2 babies moving around inside of you. Your baby's brain is developing rapidly during this time, and your baby's reflexes are starting to develop as well. Your baby is also covered with a downy, soft body hair called lanugo, which helps keep your baby warm in the womb. Now is the time to really start thinking about your birth plan. Do you want a natural birth, or would you rather have an epidural? Where do you want to give birth? Is there a particular birthing class you want to take? Making a birth plan can help you prepare mentally and physically for the big day. Now is also the time to start thinking about what you'll name your baby. If you're expecting a girl, you may want to choose a girl's name. If you're expecting a boy, you may want to choose a boy's name. Or maybe you'll go with a unisex name like Riley or Blake. No matter what you choose, just make sure it's a name that you love. If you're pregnant, you may be wondering what you can do to make sure you have a healthy pregnancy and a happy baby. Here are 5 tips to help you out. First, keep attending your prenatal appointments so your provider can monitor the health of you and your baby. Second, eat a healthy diet and get lots of exercise. Third, start thinking about your birth plan. Fourth, start thinking about what you'll name your baby. And fifth, enjoy the journey. Pregnancy is a special time, so cherish every moment. That's all for today's video. We hope you enjoyed learning about what to expect at 5 months pregnant. If you're expecting a baby in the near future, congratulations! It's an exciting time, but it can also be a little bit nerve-wracking. Rest assured, your baby is developing right on track and you're doing great. Just continue making healthy choices, taking care of yourself, and attending those prenatal appointments. Before you know it, you'll be holding your little one in your arms. Until next time, stay healthy and happy.